All right, what happens when we've got something more interesting? Like instead of tan of x, we've now got tan of 2x. What you do have to pay attention to, as always, is the domain. So we're given the x is between 0 and 360. So if I just change the domain to fit this question, then 2x would be, if I double everything, I'm going to go from 0 to 720, which just means going twice around the circle. So we are going to go twice around the circle, and if we note that in this case tan 2x is a positive, so all stations 2, so I only want these 2 quadrants, but I'm going to go around, that's the first time round. If I go around a second time, I'm going to get this plus 360 because I've gone around again. I'm also going to get 180 minus theta plus 360 as well. All right, so if you want to, you could always change that to 540 minus theta. So looks like we're going to get 4 answers here. Then you just go ahead and solve as you normally would. So 2x, remember we're finding that acute angle, and then we're going to use it in all of these. So tan of what angle gives root 3? Well, that would be 60, if my exact is correct. So what we're saying here is that 2x would be 60 degrees as theta, because theta is one of them. We're also going to have our 60 plus 360 for this one here. We're also going to have 180 minus our 60 and our 540, minus 60 as well. This one down here. All right, so we can simplify those if we need to. So here we've got our 60 degrees. We've got our 420 degrees. 120 degrees for what have we got? 40, taking away 20 more, so 480 degrees. Hopefully that's correct. Now just pay attention. So that fits our domain, and here we were doing 2x. So remember, the question is to solve for x. So we need to then find x. Well, that's pretty easy. We are just dividing everything by 2. And hopefully if I've divided by 2 correctly, we have all the answers, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now if you go back now to our x domain, just check that all those answers lie in that domain, which they do, and you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 answers. So they're all your answers. You may need to go through that a couple of times. It's a bit tough. All right, so let's practice with the second one. Again, the original domain is x is between 0 and 360. But you can see here we've got not x, we've got the angle is x minus 250. So if I do x minus 250, what we're doing is changing 0, I should have written it a bit further across, and I might need to rub this out. Sorry, let's get rid of that one. All right, let's try again. All right, so remember we've got originally x between 0 and 360, but here we've got x minus 250. So we've got 0 take away 250, a weird number, and we've got our 360 minus 250, so we've got 110 degrees here. So we're going around our circle, our unit circle. We're going to go all the way around negatively from 0, minus 90, minus 180, up to minus 250. So somewhere here in the negatives. And in the positives, let's do that separately over here. We're going from 0, 90, or 110. So we're only going up to somewhere here. So we just got to be a bit careful in these quadrants where we haven't gone right to the edge of the quadrant. So I should really label it. So here we're looking at 110 degrees. Here what we're looking at negative 250 all the way around, just so I can remember that. Okay, let's go back to the question, and we've got a sign is positive. So where is our sign? I'll do a different color. Where is our sign positive? Here, we don't need that because we're not in there, all stations. And here, we might need that one. So here, yes, we're going to get that one. Here, we might need that one. So we could get possibly 4 answers here. All right. So if we go back to our question here, our angle is x minus 250. All right, and sine of what angle gives you root 3 on 2, and that's sine of 60 if we're doing the acute angle. We do have the acute angle because that's that quadrant. So let me go back to here. So we do have 60 degrees. That's going to be one of our answers. Now, if I went to this, we'll go positives first, this quadrant here, which is our 180 minus theta quadrant. If I did 180 minus 60, I'd get 120, but 120 is a little bit further along. This is 110, so that one won't be included. All right, if I go around here, remember I don't want this quadrant because it's not positive for sine. I don't want this quadrant because it's not positive for sine, but I may want this one. Now this quadrant here, sorry about my working, is negative 180 negative theta. So if we do negative 180 minus 60, so negative 180 minus 60, we get negative 240, which is inside this quadrant. So we are going to accept that one. Oh, sorry about that. So we're getting 2 answers from all of that. And then go back to our equation over here. In order to just fix it up, we're just adding 250 to everything. So we've got 310, I think. We've got minus 240, minus 240 plus 250. I should be able to do that in my head. All right, so that's 10 degrees. Now just check again, are these answers in our original quadrant for x? Yes, they are. So it looks like we are on a good thing.